Hello again. I think this is like part 7 or 8 maybe of the Blu-ray collection. So we're gonna start with this shelf, this middle shelf right here. As you can see, there's one Funko here, and that's Wonder Woman. And now I'm just gonna get into the box sets type films that I have here. So the first one here is the Stanley Kubrick box set, which has Lolita, 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. That is a fantastic box set, and I actually love every single one of those films. I think all of them are fantastic. He's like one of my favorite directors, like probably number 2. And that body of work is just fantastic, up and down. I've read A Clockwork Orange and Lolita, the books, and I think the film does a good job. And the rest is fantastic. I do want to read The Shining. If I had to choose a favorite from here, man, it'd probably be 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I'm like a space freak. But A Clockwork Orange and his Lolita are amazing too. The Shining is amazing. I can't even pick a favorite. This is an amazing set that I got abroad, and it works here. Fantastic. I think they released his stuff on better box sets, but I already have one, so it doesn't really need to be updated. The Terminator anthology. I'm a big fan slash apologist of the Terminator films. 1 and 2 are great. 2 is one of my favorites of all time. And then this also has 3, Rise of the Machines, and 4, Salvation. I think they did a good job with Salvation. It was like a different take, an admirable take. 3 is okay, and 1 is great. I have the other ones, but they're not part of this box set. This is a pretty good set. And then this came out pretty recently. This is Wonder Woman: The Complete Collection, which is the series with Linda Carter. As I mentioned before, I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan, and I've watched the series on TV episode by episode. And then once they released the set, I was like, I have to get this, and it's great. I'm going to rewatch this next. As I mentioned earlier, I did Twin Peaks recently rewatch, so I'm gonna do this one next, and then do Charlie's Angels again. Camelot: The Complete First Season, which I thought was a decent show, but it got canceled. I got this really cheap. Here's another Starz original film, series that I have. I got a lot of the Starz series on Blu-ray coincidentally, but that one got canceled. It has Ava Green in it. Pretty good show. They could have squeezed out another season, and I think it would have been fine. But it is what it is. So now I'll move these out of the way and get to the titles. Okay, so before I actually start, this is one of my more recent pickups, which is Bottle Rocket by Wes Anderson, his first film. Great film. Kind of introduced us to his quirky type humor and the style that he brings with these films, but this is a good one. Picked this up during that Barnes & Noble sale in July. Move that out of the way. And I rewatched that last night. That's why I'm bringing it here. The Lure, which is a foreign mermaid horror film, which is absolutely amazing. I love this film. It's also a musical as well. You have to watch it to see what it's about, but it's so good. If you like foreign films, if you're like really into deep cinema like I am, then watch that one. The M. Night Shyamalan East Trail 177 trilogy, which is the train. That's part of like all 3 pretty much, but it starts with Unbreakable, which I think is amazing. It's an amazing superhero film, very underrated. Split, which was a really great James McAvoy turnout, and then Glass, which I thought Glass was good enough. People had problems with it. I had some problems with it, but I liked it enough, and I feel like M. Night is kind of returning to form, which is good, because I used to like a lot of his older films. The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is Roman Polanski's version of this film. I like it. I rewatched it the other day. I'm a huge fan of Macbeth. It's my favorite Shakespeare play. And I think he did a pretty good job with this. This was right after the death of Sharon Tate. So, it was a weird time in his life. And I think this one did a pretty good job. And then Justin Kurzel directed one more recently, which is very stylish, and I like this one as well. Nice cast. He didn't follow up well because he did Assassin's Creed afterwards, which was awful, but this is a good film. Really good score as well. Sometimes the score sells the film for me. Machete, Danny Trejo film. Robert Rodriguez. This was based off of a trailer from the Grindhouse, and then they just went ahead and made a movie. Made two movies actually. Um, Pretty good film. Pretty outrageous B movie galore. I do have Machete Kills, but it's one of those that I bought recently that I'm gonna rewatch before putting it on the shelf. So I'll show you that at the very end. Mad Max Fury Road. Unpopular opinion, but I'm not crazy about this film like everyone else is. I thought it was overrated, and I still think it did get overrated when it first came out. It's a good film. Nice to see practical effects, and it's the best one in the whole series. But I think it's not as good as people say it is. But the best one, the only one I need in my collection. So this one was mailed to me by accident in my name from Best Buy, and I just kept it because I don't know who it was meant to go to. But I have Mad Men the final season part 2, but I did see the show, so I did watch the show. I think it's a great show. John Hamm, Elizabeth Moss, everyone's fantastic in the show. One day I wouldn't mind owning the box set, but till then I have this copy right here. Just didn't get rid of it. That's a great show though. The Machinist. Wonderful Kristen Bale performance where he went through hell, like losing so much weight, and it's an eerie but great film. I think that's very underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it. Time for more Beatles. So this is the Magical Mystery Tour movie that I think Paul McCartney had most to do with. Great soundtrack. Pretty bizarre type film with like nonsensical plot, I guess, but it's the Beatles. I mean, there's not a whole lot they did wrong when they came out. Maleficent Steelbook, which I got from Best Buy pretty recently. I like this series quite a bit, and Angelina Jolie in that role, and I like Elle Fanning as Aurora as well. And then Mistress of Evil, which wasn't as good, but it was a fine sequel, and the Steelbook is nicer than the other one. So I have Malevolence 2 Bereavement. I watched this one time and I kind of liked it. It has Alexandra Daddario. This is the second one in the trilogy, and this is the only one I've seen so far. I have 3. It's called Malevolence 3 Killer. I'm saving it for my Halloween month watch, but I have not seen that one. So I'm kind of going very out of order. I've only seen the second one, but hopefully the third one is pretty good. Mamma Mia 2 movie collection. I'm a big ABBA fan, and that's the main reason why I like these films. The second one is not as good as the first, but the music is great. Here's one maybe not a lot of people have heard of, but it's The Man from Earth. It's like a fantastic film that takes place mostly in one room, and it makes you think. I think it's an incredible watch. If you're a fan of like kind of history and like dialogue driven films, this is an incredible film. Very close to a 10 out of 10 for me, and I can watch this like anytime. I love that film. And then the sequel that a lot of people did not like, Man from Earth Holocene, very different take, and I can see why people didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty good as well, and I like both of these films. I really hope they do a third one because I'm very interested in the series that not a lot of people know about. Here's one a lot of people know about, Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's first DCEU entry. Man of Steel is pretty good. It's long. There's problems with it. I don't think it's the best Superman film, but I think it's okay. Manchester by the Sea, wonderful performance from Casey Affleck and Michelle Williams in this film. Pretty depressing film, I guess. Nice kind of debut for Lucas Hedges, who I think is no, but yeah, good film. Another David Cronenberg film, Maps to the Stars. This is probably his most recent one. I like this film quite a bit. I think it has a good cast. I'm a big fan of Mia Wasikowska. So yeah, I like that film. Another Sofia Coppola film. I love Kirsten Dunst in this film, Marie Antoinette. This was just like a role that was amazing, perfect for her. And Sofia Coppola did a great job with this. It's like a historical fiction, but like it has a lot of modern elements to it. Marrowbone. I got this because I'm a big fan of Anya Taylor-Joy. And the cast is great as well. George McKay from 1917, Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things, and Mia Goth, who's in a bunch of stuff now. Pretty good horror film. Probably is predictable, but I kind of did not see the twist coming like immediately, anyways. But pretty good film. Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, which is a cult-driven film with Elizabeth Olsen. This is a great film, and John Hawkes. Very like showing the cult mentality and what happens after leaving a cult and how it like psychologically impairs you. That's a good film. Another great one with great performances is Mary Queen of Scots with Margot Robbie and Saoirse Ronan. Yeah, this is a great historical film. I'm into like learning about the past, like English, like the Tudors. Like I've watched the entire show. I like that, and this kind of intertwines with that story as well. That's a good film. Mary Poppins, the original on Steelbook. I do have to rewatch this. It's been a while, but it's like a classic. And then Mary Poppins Returns, which I saw recently, and I really like it. The Steelbook's great. I think Emily Blunt did a great job in this, and the music's pretty good. It looks very nice in the cinemas and on Blu-ray. The Master, which is a Paul Thomas Anderson film about Scientology or something similar to that. Really great, well-acted film that doesn't get enough love. I think this is a great film. Childhood classic, Matilda. I like watching this from time to time. Good family film. And then the Matrix trilogy, which is Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions. Matrix is great. I love that film. Reloaded, there's a lot of nostalgic elements with that one, but I like it, even though it's not as amazing as the first one. And then Revolutions, I still don't know. I only watched it once and I hated it. I'll try to watch it again to see if I can understand it before the fourth one comes out. But that one I remember disliking heavily. This is actually one of the best films I've seen since, I don't know, 5 years. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, which has Olivia Wilde. Such a good story, such a sweet, touching story, and like the last 20 minutes or so of it is amazing. Like the score is amazing, like everything about it is amazing. This is such a well-written film that if you have not seen it, please watch it. Mean Girls, a classic. I mostly got this because of the pink case, which I thought was pretty cool. But this is a classic Lindsay Lohan film. It has Amanda Seyfried and Regina George. What's her name? Rachel McAdams. That's a good film. One of my favorite comedies actually is Meet the Parents, because it's so awkward and you can feel like you know how awkward everything is and Ben Stiller's situation. This is a good film. The sequels were trash. Like I hated the sequels, so I'm not even gonna bother getting those. But that's a great film. A really great Lars von Trier film, Melancholia, with Kirsten Dunst, who I love. I thought this was an amazing film. It's like it shows the effects of like depression and the end of the world mixed together. This is an amazing film. Speaking of amazing, Memento, which is a early Christopher Nolan film. A lot of people have seen this. A lot of people rate it well, which is great because it's a good film. Next up, I've got The Complete Metropolis, which is Fritz Lang's an early Fritz Lang film. With this one's very long. Like it has 25 minutes extra of restored footage, but this is like an early sci-fi film, which I think is still fantastic today, and it was even ahead of its time. So this is an amazing film. Midnight Cowboy, another amazing film. I got this abroad. Great performances from Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Young Dustin Hoffman was another person who was like on a roll, like early on. He had some great roles. Fantastic film, Midsummer. I love this film. This is like one of my favorite films of last year. It probably is my favorite film of last year. The second film after Hereditary for Ari Aster. Fantastic cult type film. Love that film. And I also have this A24 director's cut version, which I have not opened. I mean, I've opened it, but I haven't like really looked into it yet. But I will watch this director's cut again this like October, Halloween. I've seen both in cinemas. I've seen the regular version and then the director's cut, and I thought the director's cut added much more to it and made it a much better film, even though it was already an amazing film. So that's why I knew, like, I wanted the director's cut on Blu-ray. So then when it came out, I already had this, so I was like, you know what, I'll keep both. Sometimes a film is so good, you just keep it. multiple copies. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, classic from my childhood. Love this film. Very rewatchable. Yeah, I do wanna. I could watch it again, like anytime. Uh, I didn't stick with Power Rangers very long when I was a kid, but the early seasons I did watch. I read the book of this first before the movie Misery, and I loved it. I thought Kathy Bates was an incredible villain, one of the best of all time, and this film is absolutely incredible. One of the best Stephen King adaptations. Here's another really good Stephen King film, The Mist. Sorry, the plastic wrap makes it hard to see, but this is The Mist. Really good film by the director of The Walking Dead. People had problems with the ending because it was very depressing, but I don't mind it at all. A Charlie Chaplin film, Modern Times, which I think is his best film. Absolutely amazing Charlie Chaplin film. Sometimes I really like silent films, and this is one of the best ones, and one of the best ones from him specifically. Molly's Game. Aaron Sorkin is such an amazing writer, and I think he did a really great job on his first directed film. Molly's Game is so sharply written, as with is a lot of his work, and Jessica Chastain, just love her. Another film that I'm gonna give the 10 out of 10 to, because Sam Rockwell is amazing in this film. The score is absolutely amazing. The concept is amazing. Duncan Jones did such a wonderful job with this film. This is one of my favorite like space sci-fi films ever. One of the best guilty pleasures ever is Mortal Kombat and Annihilation. Legacy was not too great to me because it just feels like disjointed. It's like stories of different characters from the game, but Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation are just hammy good fun. Annihilation is definitely worse, but in a good way. Mother. I know a lot of people did not like this film. I thought it was pretty good. I think it draws connections to events of the Bible and stuff, and I think Darren Aronofsky did a good job. A lot of people hated it. I remember I was in the cinemas, and the people sitting next to me, the two people, they did not like the film. I overheard them at the end saying that it was really crap to the theater patrons, but the fact is they were on their phone the entire time and not even watching, so it kind of drove me crazy. Like, first of all, you're disrupting someone else's experience, but also then just like saying, oh, it wasn't good when you didn't even pay attention. So that drives me crazy. Mrs. Doubtfire, a classic Robin Williams film. Picked this up pretty recently, but yeah, you can't go wrong with this. I think everyone knows about that one. My Bloody Valentine 3D. I don't care about the 3D in this, but this is a pretty good remake. I didn't like the original that much. Nice little modern slasher film. A good release of My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn. I'm not a huge fan of this film because it's pretty long and it's easy to kind of lose interest, but I think she's good in this film. It's like a musical, I think. Here is what I think is my favorite film of all time. 10 out of 10, Mulholland Drive. So here is another story. I watched this for film class to study kind of like dissociative identity disorder, and this film was what was recommended for my class, and I hated it when I first watched it. I hated it. And then that day progressed. The next day, I kept thinking about it. I'm like, do I hate it or do I love it? It's amazing. And then I watched it again and absolutely loved it. And now I watch this like every year. I love this film. This is an England release by Studio Canal. It does not work here, unfortunately, but the packaging is so nice. I was like, I have to get it, just collect it. And then luckily that year when I went to get that, they came out with the Criterion, so I have it on Criterion now, which is great because you need this on Blu-ray. So I'm happy, and once again, this is a great film, so having 2 copies of that, I have no issues with that. Naked Gun trilogy, interchangeably good. First one's probably the best, but good jokes. I kind of like that humor. It's kind of like that airplane humor with Leslie Nielsen. National Treasure 1 and National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. I like these. These are pretty outrageous plotted adventure films with Nicolas Cage. Pretty fun to watch. Another film that I will give the 10 out of 10 seal for, Neon Demon, my favorite film from Nicholas Winding Refn. I think he did an absolutely phenomenal job with this film. Elle Fanning, obviously one of my favorite actresses. I think this has so much style, such an amazing score. Love this film. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I wish it came with like a slipcover or like a nicer release of it was like easily available, but I love this film, Neon Demon. A lot of people will not like that film. A lot of people did not like that film, but I love it. Nerve, pretty good modern kind of like teen tech film with Emma Roberts. I've only seen it once and I thought it was pretty good, so we'll watch it again at some point. Network, love this film. So I rewatched this recently. Such a good plot in this film. I think it's so well acted. Such a great, such great direction in this film. I don't remember who the director is. But this is Sidney Lumet. Yeah, that's who it is. But this is such a good film. So well acted. It's tragic that Peter Finch like died right before or like right when this was coming out. But this is such an amazing film. And because of that film, I feel like I like that news kind of like genre. So I do want to watch like The Newsroom because I feel like it might be similar, maybe not. I don't know. Never Look Away, which was an incredible film. I saw in independent cinema. I think it's a German film. It probably is a German film. It takes place in, well, it has Nazi elements in it, so I think it's a German film. But it's an amazing film about like an artist and what inspires him when he experiences like terrible loss and stuff. This is such a long film, but all of it is absolutely amazing. The Nice Guys, which is a really good buddy cop film with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. I think Shane Black did a really good job with this, and if he wanted to do a sequel, I would have no complaints because I thought this was very funny and written well. Night of the Living Dead. I've had a few copies of this until the Criterion came out, and then I finally got the Criterion. Really great, exemplary zombie film that George A. Romero did. He set the trend for that genre, and this film is still one of the best like zombie films ever. If I had to choose between Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead, I probably wouldn't be able to, but maybe I like Night a little more. Nightcrawler, amazing Jake Gyllenhaal performance. Didn't get any love for this, which is weird because, well, also like award wise, because he's so fantastic in this film. I think the plot is really great. He's like weirdly creepy as well in it. Here's another one I saw in an independent cinema and I loved it. The Nightingale, really great film by the director of The Babadook. It's gonna be a hard watch for some people, but long, but I think it's like a, I can't find the word, but it's like a rewarding watch in the end. So that was that shelf. I'm going to move on to the next one in the next video. Thank you.